All right. Hey guys. So I am finishing up her accent wall that I'm doing in her room for dolls. Super excited. I want to do her room over to get a surprise for her, but obviously right now none of us can go anywhere. And so using what we have, I did order a couple of things from the dollar store just so I have extra stuff. So that's where I got this awesome wrapping paper. And this is going to be a big accent wall. I also got some blues and teals. And then we got a new bed, trundle bed. It is actually drying right now with paint. Super excited about it. And then I have scarves to make either, I'm not sure if I want to do like a canopy with it or like just her ceiling. And we also got shower curtains to use as curtains. So I can actually show you that right now. So I was debating on using the shower curtains because we're doing like a gray and teal and blue theme. I was thinking of I could use that to cover one of the walls because it has a lot of stuff. But instead of doing it like that, I actually decided to try it as a curtain. And it's super cute. And she doesn't have curtains on either of her windows. So I am excited that that seemed to work. We'll just have to be careful with them because they are a little bit fragile. All right. Let me turn that. Okay, you can see it. All right. So the other thing about using the wrapping paper, as I told you in the last video, you have the edge right here where it does have all of that white and like a white edge. So what I've been doing is doing the white edge that I know is going to be overlapped with something. Every single layer of wrapping paper, I have overlapped it just to give it a little bit of extra hold. Talking to you guys through my video, I actually just came up with a super good idea last video to Mod Podge over this, so it actually gives it a really good hold. So that might be something we do, maybe. I kind of like the fact that this is just easy and quick, so we'll see. All right. So I might have to get the other roll of paper out because this is just my extra piece. It goes about halfway for the whole roll. So I do have this extra piece, but I do have that edge too. So let's see how wide it is. It might be, instead of making it as long, it might be wide enough. Nope, because then I would still have to use that edge and it's not going to cover up this all the way down because that's a lot thicker right there. So we're going to put this back. Hey, little Bill. Say hi to Lily. This is my manager and my boss. She likes to lay down the job and make sure that I'm doing a good job. Right, little Belle? Say hi. All right, back to it. So this will be good because this can show you how I started the very first time. So opening the paper. And again, this whole wall is done for like $4. So that's the best part. The two best things for me are it was cheap and quick. All right, so I've got my wrapping paper. And I know that I'm not going to use the edge that has the lining because I don't want to have to cover that up. So I'm going to go from this edge up. And then I'm going to take it. I could use a measuring tape, so that's also a possibility, but some people might not have that, so I'm going to show you the way to do it this way. So I'm going to put it up against that edge. I'm going to push it up so that lip is covered because of the line that I did when I painted. I made it really thick. So I want to make sure that is covered. And I'm going to come down. And right here, like if I did in between there, it would be enough. But over when I'm looking right here, the wrapping paper is not as high up. So I'm going to go ahead and do right to here. All right. So I got how wide it needs to be now, how long. So I'm going to make a mark or a slit. I don't see a pen or a marker. All right. So we are going to just cut that right there unless I can find one really quick. All right, let me go look really fast. I'm going to pause you guys. Pause. Okay, so I got a marker. I'm going to use teal, or you could use blue. You could use a pencil if you want. I'm just going to use this so that way if for some reason it does show through, it's got the colors of the paper. So I'm going to go ahead and mark my spot, which is right there. And then, like I said, you could use a measuring tape. But I'm just going to do it this way to make it quick and fast. So I'm going to go over to straight against that wall. Make sure I have extra in case. So I'm going to go right about here. Okay. Here's my marker. Right there. I don't have enough hands. All right, so I'm gonna do this line just to make sure I have enough. So then we're gonna take our cut. Where was it before? So I haven't been marking, I've just been cutting it. Oh, there we go. So from here to there, and I'll have everything done. Okay, so let's put this down here. I'll move you guys down. See if you can see me okay. Ah! Sorry, I'm not very good at videotaping all this yet. All right, so let's go ahead and we are gonna take our dot right there. And I think I said this already, but just to reiterate it, you have the easiest job trying to line all of this up because on the inside of the paper, as you can see, everything is squared and lined. So it makes it really, really easy. This is even easier than that sticky paper that people put in their shelves or as backsplash, which is what we did in the kitchen, because that doesn't even have it lined all the way across. I mean, it's great, and it does have a lot done. Oh, yeah, reach it. But it doesn't have, it has it like halfway through and then there's a space, halfway through and then there's a space. So doing it this way, the wrapping paper is even easier. No, it doesn't have a sticky back, but it's still great. And again, I could use Mod Podge, so that might be something I do just to give it extra hold and a little bit better, because wrapping paper is just paper and it's really thin. I've had mine up for, man, it's been a long time. I would say like 6 years maybe, and I've only had like 1 or 2 spots ripped, and that is without like an extra layer on it. I did it really thin and quick. I did not take my time like I did with this. I did buy wallpaper glue for actual paper, thinking like, oh, okay. And the funny thing is, that's the most expensive thing I used. I'm just gonna line that up and make sure. That's the most expensive thing that I used, but guess what? It sucked. 1, it did not work, it did not hold it up. And 2, it made a yellow line through all of the paper. Yes, I'm sure it's made for actual wallpaper, which is a lot thicker, but still. So instead of going that route this time, we just decided to hot glue it, which is what I ended up doing in the first place, or the last place when I came to that. I'm just gonna roll up all my extra paper. And I am gonna use some of this as scrap paper for other things in her room to make it match. But you do wanna be careful when you're using something as like dramatic as this. So use it as an accent wall instead of, if I did all of her walls with this, it would be way too crazy. It would look like a grandma's basement or grandma's like old school house. So that's why I went with the teals and the blues. 1, because I found some stuff that I could match it with. 2, she loves those colors. And 3, if I did like a pink one, she's over pink. She has been very tolerant of Mama. But besides just being over pink, this gives a look that is a little bit more teen and not so much grandma wallpaper. At least I hope. All right, put that back up there. Okay, so I'm gonna move my ladder over. And again, instead of doing the hot glue right off the bat, I'm gonna try doing that tape. That way I can adjust it a little bit and it will be a lot easier if it's not exactly where I want. I'm just gonna do like a little blind test to make sure, yep, got more than enough length. I'm gonna do this corner first because that's where the edge is, and that one is just overlapping. So if you have someone else to do this with you, it is a lot easier. I would love to have an extra pair of hands, but I also really want to surprise her. We just went through not receiving a puppy that we have literally been waiting for months. We sold Dulcie's bunk beds and some bikes to a lady that breeds puppies, which is just like Lily. And it was awesome because at Christmas time, my stupid car, of course, needed a new transmission. Well, anyone that knows anything about cars, which is more than me, I do not know that a lot, but knows that a transmission is kind of a deal breaker. You either fix it and you're going to keep your car for a really long time, or you're going to scrap it and say, nope, it's not worth fixing. Well, I still owed a little bit on some things. So, and I had just got my radiator fixed like the summer before. So it was better for me to actually get the transmission fixed. But hopefully nothing else goes wrong, because holy moly, that car I've spent the last couple of years way more than what it's worth. All right, so when I'm smoothing this out, I can see that like it's starting to crease and not work. So I'm going to take that piece of tape off. I don't want to touch the tape that is touching the paper, because if you do, it will rip. But I can touch the tape and take it apart from the tape that is actually on the wall, just not the paper. I do have one down here, so that's going to have to stay. So I'm going to kind of smooth it out. Make sure that it's going to be smooth and not creased. If it is creasing, one of the easiest ways to fix it is just to cut this in a few pieces and then do those pieces separate. It'll still look good, but it will give you a little bit of an easier line to not have the chance of creasing like it is. All right, so I still have my pink line up the top. When I painted her room, it was quick and the edge is a little bit thicker than what I would want. So in order to cover that up, I'm going to push my paper up a little bit higher than what the actual line is, just to make sure everything is covered. I also bought scarves. So I'm going to do something either with her new bed or on the ceiling to give it another texture, but also give it a kind of cool look and make it different. So the edges of this, if I decide to do the ceiling with it and it's just scarves, then what I can do is I can cover up that edge. But just in case I don't do that, I want to make sure that this is covered. And it's creasing a little, so I might end up cutting it in a few pieces. All right, push you up. There we go, that's better. Make sure I actually get the paper that time. There we go. So this entire wall, again, I probably already said it, but guess what? $4. You cannot go wrong with trying to do something really cool and add this accent in there, and you can't get a better deal than $4. I know that it's paper, so I get that that might be a little scary, but I am telling you, the one in my room has lasted years, and that's with little kids. It used to be Dulcie and my younger ballerinas and jumping on my bed. Sometimes I still do, and I have not had a problem. Oh, don't stand on the top of the ladder. Do as I say, not as I do. And literally, I've only had one little tiny tear, and that's why I got extra paper, so that way I could cover that up. So, all right. This spot right here is not as tight as I want. Because the edge right here at the ceiling, I can still see a little bit. So I kind of want to pull that off. It's already taped. Let's see. I'm going to have to do a patch beat here probably. That's all right. So I did pull off the tape, which I told you not to do, and you can see there's a little tiny line. You might not be able to see it in the video, but I'm just going to tell you there is one. And so I'd rather do that and patch that little thing than have to patch the ceiling, because none of the paper lines up, if that makes sense at all. Because it is that I did that really deep bright pink and I love it, but it is very noticeable if you even have like the tiniest little part showing.